Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Asalaam alaykum, everybody, and welcome back to day number 2 of Mystics of the Prayer with Sayyid. I will not take much of your time, and inshallah, Sayyidina, if you're ready, then let's get straight into it.
Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Alhamdulillahi bijami'i mahamidihi kullaha ala jami'i ni'amihi kullaha. والصلاة والسلام على عبده المرتضى ورسوله المجتبى وحبيبه المصطفى الذي سماه في السماوات أحمدا وفي الأرض أبا القاسم محمدا وعلى الأطيبين من آل البررة سيما يا حجة الله الباقية اللهم أخرجنا من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمنا بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين وصل يا ربي على محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم وأهلك أعداءهم أجمعين. Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Imagine an alien comes to Earth. The only thing this alien knows about Earth is the English language. This alien is able to speak English. And we say that because if this alien was unable to communicate with us, this example could not work. Let's give this alien a name. Let's say, for example, this alien is called Donald. Donald the alien comes to Earth. And Donald the alien knows English, which is, more than we can say about some other Donalds out there. But in any case, this Donald the alien knows English very well, and he's able to communicate with English speakers. Donald the alien comes to your city, and this is the first time this alien is experiencing Earth. He knows nothing about Earth, nothing, okay? The first time he's seeing people, the first time he's seeing cars, the first time he's seeing houses and shops and streets, everything is new, okay? This alien comes to your city and he becomes your guest, okay? So you become the host of an alien. He goes out with you one day and this alien is looking and he's seeing there are some structures, some buildings next to one another. And there are some other structures across these buildings, again, next to one another. And between these two lines of structures, there is an open space. And in this open space, there are some machines, some mechanisms, which are moving. And these mechanisms have wheels, these mechanisms have windows, and they are quite spacious inside. And within these mechanisms, these machines, there are some beings, some entities sitting there, okay? Donald the alien asks you, what is that? What is this thing I'm seeing moving between in the space? And you say, that's a car. And Donald the alien asks you, what's a car? And you start explaining. You start explaining a car is a mechanism that consists of tires, of glass, of a roof, of doors, of a bumper, of an engine, of lights. And you begin explaining one by one what all of these words mean to someone who's never experienced this thing before. And Donald the alien replies and says, okay, but what's it for? I understand what the different parts are called, but what's it there to do? And you say, a car is there to make transport easy for human beings. Donald the alien says, what's a human being? And you begin explaining a human being is this and this and this. And one of the needs of a human being is the need to move easily between places. And this car, this strange machine, okay, it's there to fulfill this need of the human being. And Donald the alien will then go back to you and say, aha, now I understand. Now that you've explained to me what the car is there to do and who the car is there to serve, and in technical terminology, the philosophy of a car, which is only related to one thing, and that is the human being, now it all makes sense. Now I understand the reason behind the car. But I wish you'd begun by explaining to me, that creation, that entity, that being, which the car is there for. Would that you'd begun by explaining, oh, Donald the alien, there is something called a human being. This human being is this and this and this. And this human being has a need for transportation. And therefore, there is a mechanism called a car, which makes transportation easy for the human being. And this car consists of all these different parts. That would have been a better way to explain what a car is. When we come to Islam, the mistake that's been made over and over is that we'll come and we will speak about the intricate details of this car, of Islam. We say Islam is fasting and praying and believing in God and giving charity. And okay, you're explaining to me the car. You're explaining to me there's a window, there's a tire, there's a bonnet, there's a door. But tell me, what is this car there to do? What's the philosophy of this car? What's the reason behind this car? If religion had been explained to us in that way, maybe, just maybe, it would have been better. Maybe it would have all made sense. Now that I understand what man is, I understand the reason behind this car having an engine. Okay? So let's try and understand Islam from this perspective. In order to understand Islam, because Salah is a part of Islam. In order to understand Salah, prayer, you need to understand Islam. And in order to understand Islam, you need to understand the topic of Islam. What's Islam all about? So Salah, for example, bila tashbih, it's like, the engine of a car. In order to understand what an engine is, you need to know what a car is. In order to understand what a car is, you need to understand what a human being is, because car is made for a human being. Similarly, in order to understand as-salah, the prayer, you need to know what Islam is. In order to understand Islam, you need to know what al-insan, the human being, is. Because the topic of Islam, what Islam is all about, is the one thing, and that is al-insan, the human being. When we look at the Quran is, the word of Allah. If you want to know the religion of Islam, you refer to the Quran. What does the Quran say about itself? It says it's hudan lin-nas. Quran introduces itself as a guidance for all people. Meaning, the Quran and Islam is here for human beings. Allah the Exalted does not follow a religion. Allah is not a Muslim. Allah sent Islam for al-insan, for the human being. The topic of Islam is al-insan, the human being. That's what Islam's all about. Okay? So that's the first point. That's the first point. Now, why does man need Islam? Why does al-insan need Islam? What's the need? What need is Islam taking care of? The car, its need is obvious. It helps and makes transportation and moving between different places easy for us. What's Islam doing? Why does man need Islam? Man has many needs. Human being has many, many needs. But without a shadow of a doubt, the most important need that the human being has is the need to know his own self. Man huwa al-insan? What is the human being? Who are you? Person comes and they say, I'm for example an engineer. I say, no, that's your profession. Who are you? This person says, okay, I'm a father. I say, no, that's your role in the family. Who are you? So, okay, I'm Michael, or I'm, Muhammad, whatever your name is. I'm Zahra. That's your name. Who are you? Says, I'm a man, I'm a woman. That's your gender. Who are you? And then there's silence. And then there's silence. And then there's silence. And, just, on as something to complement this discussion, some of the acts of worship in Islam, some of the rituals, one of the reasons behind them may well be this. It's to take you out of your imagination. Leave behind who you think you are and find out who you really are. And a prime example of this is the Hajj, the pilgrimage to Mecca. The first thing you do when you go, before you can enter into Mecca and the Holy Kaaba represents the divine presence of Allah, the Exalted, what do? You have to take off your clothes. Because, one of the reasons could be this. Your clothes, from a person's clothes, you know who is poor, you know who is rich, you know who is wealthy, you know who's needy. Whoever you are, take it off, because your poverty does not define you and your wealth does not define you. Take off your arrogance, your pride, take it off and come and wear just without, any other clothing, no underwear, no nothing, just 2 cloths covering your body. You're forbidden to use perfume. You're forbidden to look at yourself in the mirror. You're forbidden to hold your nose if you come across, a bad smell. Because you need to remember that all of these things, how you beautify yourself in front of people, and indeed Islam encourages that generally, but in some situations it takes that away from you, like in Hajj. You need to remember all, this looking so handsome or presentable in front of people, it's not, don't get deceived. Don't think that's who you are. Don't think that's who you are. Islam's reminding us, you're something else. You're something else. The biggest need of man is to know who he is. Now, can science tell us who we are? Because there's a lie you've been told, and it's been repeated to you over and over since childhood, through the media and, maybe other places as well, that science can give us all the answers we need. Science is able to solve all our issues. Okay. If that's the case, is science able to give us a definition of who we are? Oh, science, can you tell me who I am? Tell me what I am. Tell me my reality. I don't want an opinion. I want the truth. I have 70, 80 years in this world. I cannot live these 70 and 80 years based on an opinion which you may find out is false in the next 100 years. I need a solid understanding of who I am so I can live according to my true reality. And the reality is, science is incapable of doing that because of the definition of the word science. Are we saying science is bad? No. Science helps us know the physical world. It's great. But asking a scientist for a definition of the human being is like asking a mechanic to do an operation on you, or going to a doctor to fix your car. It's not the job of science. Because the word science itself, what does it mean? Here I have a definition. Science, the pursuit and application of knowledge and understanding of the natural and social world, following a systematic methodology based on evidence. And that systematic methodology includes objective observation, evidence, experiment, repetition, analysis, and testing. That's one definition of science that's out there. Okay? There are two things that every definition of science, which is a good definition, will tell you. Number one, science deals with the physical world, which means what? It cannot comment about the metaphysical world. It's not a job of science to do that. It's not the topic of science. It's like wanting your eyes to hear or wanting your ears to see. It speaks about the physical world. An honest scientist will never comment about the metaphysical world unless he has a different reason, a non-scientific reason to do so. Science can't comment about that. Secondly, the methodology of science is trial and error. It's experimentation. Meaning what? Science experiments different kinds of waters from different parts of the world and sees they all boil at the same temperature, and then it assumes that all water is the same. Okay? It's a very good assumption, but it cannot give you absolute truth. So if you want a definition of yourself, science is capable of doing that. It can help you know your physical self better, but that's it. That's about all it can do. So who are you? Who are you? Who am I? What's the answer to that question? And this is where man needs Islam. One of the biggest, duties of Islam is to introduce you to your own self. It's to introduce you to your own self. Okay? Islam is saying what? Let's look at the Quran. Again, there are many verses where similar verses where this theme is mentioned. We don't have enough time to go through all of them. I'll suffice with only one or two. To put it very, very quickly, because of time, Islam is saying man has a physicality. This body, it's man's physical body. That's there. We're not denying that. But there is something much greater about the human being than only this. What does the Quran say? This is Surah 38, ayat 71 to 72. Allah the Exalted says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إذ قال ربك للملائكة إني خالق بشرا من طين فإذا سويته ونفخت فيه من روحي فقعوا له ساجدين. When your Lord said to the angels, surely I am creating a human being from clay. So when I have formed him, meaning made his physical form, and blown into him of my spirit, then all of you angels prostrate yourselves before him. So man has a physical body, which is this. I apologize for that, brothers and sisters. Excuse me for the breakup. It's after that reality, that divine reality has been blown, has been connected to this physicality, that man gained the value for angels, which are beings of spirituality, spiritual beings made of light, to prostrate and humble themselves before the human being. So man has this divine reality and he has his physicality. But here's the thing. In Surah 4, Ayah 32, Allah the Exalted says the following. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل يتوفاكم ملك الموت الذي وكل بكم ثم إلى ربكم ترجعون. Say that the angel of death will take you away. will make you pass away, that same angel who has been appointed as being responsible for you in this matter, then to your Lord you will be returned. The word used here is yatawaffa. Tawaffa means to take something away in its entirety. When you only take part of something from someone, you haven't taken all of it. You can't use the word tawaffa. The point being, when a person passes away, their body remains in this world. It goes back into the ground. It goes back into nature. But Allah is saying, the angel of death will take you away in your entirety. Meaning your reality was not this physicality. Your reality was something else. Your reality was that spirit
Assalamu alaikum,
that was
Sayyid.
connected to this physicality sometimes.
Your camera is sideways.
Yes, Ahmad. Sorry?
Your camera is sideways.
Oh, sorry. Apologize. Okay, just give me one moment. I apologize. Is that better?
It's still sideways. That's perfect.
I apologize for that, dear brothers and sisters. Please bear with me. Sometimes, these connection problems, they do take place. But inshallah, we can, get the gist of the subject. This physicality will stay here. Your reality will continue. Okay? So your reality was other than this physicality. And therefore, we say that man is a spiritual being with a physical aspect. He's living in a physical world, but he's a spirit residing in this physical world. He's a spiritual reality. And had this point about man been obvious, we wouldn't have greed in the world. We wouldn't have 690 million people in the world who are, undernourished, while on the other hand, about one third of the food that's present in the world is wasted. We wouldn't have these issues. We wouldn't have greed. We wouldn't have hunger. We wouldn't have oppression. We wouldn't have subjugation. It's all because man has forgotten who he is. How is this related to Salah? How is any of this related to the prayer? Okay. In the last few remaining minutes, I'd like to just make a small connection here, inshallah. Look, all of man's problems stem from his becoming negligent of his own reality, of his forgetting who he really is. Okay? And some experts of the Arabic language, the stronger opinion of Arabic language experts states that, in fact, the word al-insan, which is Arabic for the human being, it comes from the word nasiya, which means to forget. Because man is a being that forgets. He forgets who he really is. And, because man has this physicality, and because man is living in a physical world, while he is a spiritual being, because he is absorbed and surrounded by physicality, he requires a reminder of his spiritual reality. And out of his mercy and his kindness and his wisdom, Allah the Exalted has placed reminders throughout every single day of the human being's life. At the crack of dawn, rather before it, at midday, in the afternoon, at sunset, and at night. Man is told, come and remember who you are. Yes, throughout the day you have to work, you're busy with people, with other things, with your occupation, with your job, with your studies, with your family, with whatever. Come at these 5 times and remember who you are. Don't lose yourself. Millions have lost themselves in this physicality, in this world of materialism. They've lost themselves. But you're told, come And by means of the salah, remember who you are. Remember who you are. And just to give one example, one beautiful example, and then we end, inshallah, and the continuing explanation for the next nights, inshallah. You know, one of the secrets of raising your hands when you begin the salah, so you say Allahu Akbar. It's you're putting physicality behind your head. You're putting it behind you. You're turning your back on physicality, albeit for just some moments. You're putting what they call the dunya behind you. Allahu Akbar. You're turning away from the dunya, from the physical world, to your own spiritual reality. Okay? And doing this 5 times a day, it keeps our level of consciousness of our own reality, our own spiritual being, you know, to a high level. This is one of the secrets behind the prayer, behind the salah. It's here to remind you that you are a spiritual being. Don't lose yourself in the world of nature and in the world of materialism. وسبحان ربنا رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على